Hey guys, it's me Mickey T, and welcome back to my hardcore let's play, where in this series I'm dedicating to building a dwarven mega city inspired by the Lord of the Rings. I have survived for almost 2,000 days at this point, and I'd love it if you'd consider hitting that subscribe button and the like button and joining me along on the journey of building the biggest dwarven city you'll have ever seen. However, let's go ahead and jump into the video by heading outside, because we've got a bunch of things to do before we can jump into today's task, which is starting with this area, because this is where, if you remember back in episode 1, we built the encampment where we survived for a couple of days as we were terraforming the entranceway to our dwarven kingdom. Well, we need to go ahead and get all of this deleted and yeeted. However, we do have some things that are pretty important, like this chest contains the first set of wooden tools we ever made in this world, the first stone tools and iron tools, along with the first ever shield and iron armor that we made. Unfortunately, the diamond armor got upgraded to the netherite, so we couldn't really keep that. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff moved inside, where we're heading down into somewhere where you guys over on YouTube won't have seen very much in the videos, as this stands as the Hall of Heroes for the people that become members on YouTube, and also the people over on Twitch that subscribe get an armor stand that we upgrade every time they then continue the sub after the fact. So we can place down our memory box and start filling it up with all of our old memories. We will get these displayed properly in the future at some point, but for now this will do, as we've got lots to get on with. However, we head back out to our pile of old rubble, where I'm just trying to take a very quick glance to see if there's anything that we really need to be keeping here, but I think this is pretty much good to just completely trash. So, with you guys as my witness, we will burn everything which we collected within the first 100 days of this world together. There we are. Now, I've actually had a pretty cool idea with what I actually want to do, instead of just getting rid of all this. But first, let's head back inside, sleep the night away so the phantoms aren't an issue, grab some food, and now I don't have the phantoms to distract me and really do my head in. I can actually go ahead and just explain that I actually thought it would be a cool idea to cover this up and kind of make this into like a rocky boulder outcrop area, so the kind of stone will protrude up and it'll basically just like a lump of rock. But we know as an audience that underneath that lump of rock is preserved the first ever base that we ever made in this world. How cool would that be? However, moving up over the first initial mountain that we've built will reveal the top of the previous mountain. Now, I actually have decided what I'm going to go ahead and do is use our shovel to start digging up all of the snow blocks and hopefully collecting some snow, as I'm gonna need it for the upcoming project. Scratch that, we actually need to get a different ow. This is why I don't try and be clever with my filming. I'm not good at it, okay? But putting our toolbox down, we actually have a diamond shovel with silk touch, but only silk touch. So I think we're just going to spend a little bit of time quickly upgrading this so that it's similar to our netherite one, where we're going to need to buy efficiency 5. My god, that's expensive. Can't go wrong with a little bit of a mending book. The beautiful unbreaking 3 book. Oh, I didn't need to buy that many. Oops. Then we combine the books, making it cheaper, and then throw it on that shovel. I'd also like to go and say, don't worry, we are going to be upgrading that to a netherite shovel at some point. We've just got a bit of mining to do in the nether to be able to actually go ahead and do that. But you wouldn't be the first people to say that I need to do it, as you've just seen the little hall of heroes. I actually have a lot of people that are currently waiting on netherite armor upgrades, so yeah. But landing on the peak of the mountain, we're only going for the snow at the moment. We may come back and level out the rest of the mountain. However, it's going to be covered up anyway, so there's no real issue if we kind of just leave it all lumpy and bumpy. We may want to mob spawn proof it at some point, but that's something to worry about in the future. I was actually using the grave, the stone, to actually figure out where the heck I had dug snow blocks from, but it started snowing again. Well, we've run out of bottles of enchanting and we've also used up our silk touch pickaxe, so we're gonna have to leave the digging of the snow blocks there, but we will come back to it again in the future as we are gonna need a whole lot of snow block. But that's 3.5 shulkers filled up. Going to quickly gather up some dirt as we are gonna need it. Which, tearing down this mountain isn't an immediate job that needs to be doing, but since we need to gather some dirt, it's pretty much killing two birds with one stone. That's the first inventory of dirt constructed? What? I'm also heading up into the air to showcase just how much we actually need to remove, because all of this dirt that I'm flying over right now needs digging down and basically bringing down to sea level so that it makes the mountains stand out a little bit more. Because if we actually head back over here, you can see that it's kind of all like hilly and terrainy, and I want the surrounding area leading up to the mountain range to be completely flat so that it makes the mountain range just stand out like this giant awesome monument that it's supposed to be. So we're gonna head back over to where our dwarven keep is and head down to the sea level, start mining out just a little bit more dirt towards the mountain direction, seeing if we can at least try and get the shoreline dug all the way out so we can kind of see where we're going from. I've not even touched the surface, as you can see, and we're nowhere near the mountain. We've literally got to take back this entire area. This is a much bigger job than I anticipated. So we're going to take it a little bit closer to home and start digging out the mountain from probably where this mini ravine is. But first, let's just head back to the shoreline so we can figure out what Y level we need to actually go down to, making sure to keep one block above the shoreline so that we can make beaches on the side. We are wanting to go down to about Y64. So hopping back over near to the mountain. We're on 91 right here and we need to take it down to 64. So we've filled up a second chest, and we are most certainly going to need a beacon if we're going to want to do this. This is not doable without one, I don't think. Coming back over to our villager trading hall, I don't think we're going to be needing to mine out anymore in this area, so I think we're just going to go ahead and take the beacon from here. We have so many iron blocks now that I'm not even actually going to bother taking the iron blocks because it's just going to take up more time than it's worth to mine them up, so we're going to leave them there for prosperity. And I just wanted to take a second to admire this hall. I am just in awe at this hall. Come and grab one of you as well. Construct said beacon. Yeah, I needed 2 more blocks, which should allow us to now just put the cherry on the top. Badoom. And I think we start at just the highest point near the beacon, and we just see how long it takes to get us down to Y64 in a small area. I don't want to overdo it. I'm not trying to go too far with this, just kind of see how long it takes with a beacon. And that should about finish that up. I'm now very quickly running backwards and forwards, trying to save as much of the stone as possible, because we're going to need a lot for what we're about to do next, which should give us the last little bit over here. So yeah, this is one in a tiny bit chunk. This was already dug out because it was a ravine that was kind of cutting through underground. But yeah, this took me half an hour and the entire durability of one pickaxe to do. When I talk about the ambition of this project, I'm kind of not underselling it. This is literally just the outside is probably like 500 hours worth of work, and not to spoil anything, but heading inside, this is probably about 1,000 hours worth of work, if not much more, considering this is only one of potentially 2 or 3 caverns that I have in mind. Then you've got the buildings to consider, you've got everything else to ow, seriously, you would have thought I would have learnt my lesson from like 2 minutes ago, but I didn't. But we are at this point where I actually need to go ahead and copy this entire design of mixing the cobble and andesite and stone in order to blend the stone wall that we've got going on here into the dirt on the sides of the mountain, over to this side. So after a quick repair stop, we gather up some cobble. And along with getting sidetracked, digging out way more than I actually need to. And I'm starting out by making a very simple outline of kind of where I want the stone to sort of go, and I want it to protrude out a lot from where this kind of dirt wall is here. And then all we have to really do is just go ahead and mix in some stone and some andesite and kind of just start bringing up the levels, and just using this opportunity to just mix in a little bit of grey concrete. And then we also want to go ahead and mix in some gravel. But this is looking really, really good so far. I definitely think there's a lot of improvements we can do. So if we head up into the air, basically we need to get to work on building up this landscape just a little bit more, and trying to learn about how we're actually going to texture and just make this look a little bit better and a little bit less blocky and pyramidy. As you can see, we've kind of used a lot of the same lengths here, so we need to go ahead and get a lot of this changed. Grab a bunch of the dirt that we had previously dug out. Honestly, every time I fly up, I'm actually looking at this and there's just more and more to refine every time I fly up. I definitely think I need to refine my hill building skills a little bit. So we grab our cobby muscle stone and we head up to where the transition from the grass into the stone is, to help add in the sense that the grass and the moss is starting to grow in and over the stone. I think we just run around and we just add patches of cobby muscle stone around the stone, which will help the transition and just add a slight sense of realism. Making sure to head into the stone layer and add in a little bit into the stone as well, so that it helps with the transition. Yeah, from a distance, it looks great. The only thing I'm not a fan of is these dirt bands. So we need to do something to try and tackle them, which I have a theory which may not look great, but it's worth just testing to have a look, is just experimenting by placing down some oak leaf blocks in like random patterns, which should help kind of cover up some of these bigger dirt patches that we've got going on. It certainly gives it kind of a bushy feeling. I do kind of like it. I think we just need to be more purposeful with it. I am wondering if just running around and adding like some different vegetation, making sure to take the flowers out just so we don't have too much color, because you guys know me, I don't really like my color, but we'll see if this kind of helps just add to the bushiness and maybe just take away from the sharp edges of the block so much. Yeah, that definitely adds a little bit of life to it, actually. I do kind of like that. It's definitely making the hill look a little bit more natural and just a little bit less handmade. The color variation is sticking out a little bit too much. Maybe ferns would have been a better idea for the biome. I am making a very quick trip back to my old base, where I've come for some of this good stuff. Then crafting some slabs and some stairs and other bits. I knew there would be some gravel around here somewhere for us to grab. The idea here is to make it seem like boulders have fallen down off the mountain, or the grass is receding, showing some of the rocky outcrop underneath, and just add a bit of life to the mountain. And we've finished that, so just taking a quick look, it definitely looks like we've now got some more natural kind of rocky outcrops going on. And upon reflection, I think there's a couple of things that we need to improve upon moving forward. I think we need to improve upon our blending, and it needs to be more gradual. It's just way too harsh and it just doesn't quite look the way that I intended it to. But I do kind of like how we've got these like streams of like stones in places. But I think we have to remember as a community that this is a project that's going to take me hundreds of hours to complete. The mountain range is going to span from north to south by about 1,000 blocks in total, if not even longer, and we have loads of terraforming to do. However, I wanted to make sure that I was bringing out these episodes weekly for you, as I know I've got a little bit flaky recently in releasing episodes episodes for your faces to watch. But with that being said, unfortunately it is time this week to go ahead and wrap up this video. So I want to go ahead and thank you for watching. If you haven't, please consider hitting that like button. It really does help me out. And so does subscribing, as we are now on our warpath to 100,000 subscribers, and you could help me hit that number within the next couple of years, which would be an amazing feat to say the least. But I am truly sorry that this episode couldn't have been even longer for you to enjoy this week. I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been the Mike James, also known as It's Me, Mickey T, and I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Goodbye!